Please welcome Dr. Christine Garcia. Um, Dr. Garcia, a lot of this story with Dr. Berman's it is with social media. As she said, and we're hearing from a lot of parents, they're stuck inside, so I let them, live on social media a little more than I ever thought that I would. In this case, though, it's one thing to know your child. I think it's another thing to know their social media version of themselves. I went to Catholic school. We'd walk out the door in our uniforms. By the time we got to school, that outfit looked completely different than the one that our parents knew we walked out in. And when they get on social media, they're a different person. They morph into someone that we may not even recognize.
Yes. I went to Catholic school too. I know exactly what you're talking about. And the thing is like you said, a lot of these things haven't changed before pandemic and now. Kids have always had two separate lives, but now everything is so much more intensified, and it's very tough to get in there. And you're all sharing the same space. But the tricky thing is to navigate those two different lives that they lead and give them the privacy that they
Mm,
need to grow and to develop into themselves while also making sure they're safe. And
mm.
with this very sobering addition of social media and the random people that are trying to reach into our kids and unfortunately harm them, we have to really be very careful.
Well, and I think that's what's so frightening, that a stranger could connect with your child in the way that you cannot. And that's the thing. I mean, you want, as I said to Dr. Berman, the struggle of being the cool parent or the disciplinarian parent and keeping that bond. You're around each other more than ever before. Yes, that builds love, but it also tears on love because you are around each other so much. So how do you balance it under these circumstances that we're living in, being the accessible parent versus give me all of your passcodes, give me all of your information? That's a non-negotiable thing.
Well, I think parents, and I'm a parent too. I'm a parent of a 13-year-old son during this pandemic, so I kind of live this as well. And it's very tough. And I think first it's important to relieve yourself of the pressure that you have to be the cool parent or the authoritative parent, or that you have to fulfill the hole that's left in this pandemic of the social isolation that kids have. They're not going to see you as their friend. You're always going to be their parent. And perhaps the best thing you can do is to be in it with them when they are able to let you in. And
Mm,
that can be tricky. We all know this. We ask them, "How are you doing?" "Fine."
right.
"Is anything wrong?" "No." And then you get a shut door, right? That's
Right.
very
Every
common.
parent knows that. And by the way, we've all been teenagers. We've probably doled our fair share of that out. And that's the thing. The minute you ask them, how's it going? Fine. How was this? Fine. And you're now up against this, and you either push harder, which is, if a teenager, they're not happy about that, or you retreat because you don't know what to do. And you make the point that just because you're in the room doesn't mean you're communicating. People make the assumption, well, we're all sitting in the den together, we're watching a movie, but you're not communicating.
That's right. That's right. So I say to folks, open things up by getting in your kids' world. So, for example, with the social media apps, even if you're not interested in getting in there, get in there. Check them out yourself. Ask your kids for advice and help them to feel like they are teaching you something that they really know about. Going at it from a place of curiosity takes off the pressure that they are doing something wrong, that you're monitoring them, because nobody likes that feeling.
Yeah.
And once you're in there, ask them for what they think is cool, what they like, and then that can lead to a conversation about, well, how do you figure out what's safe and not safe? When I'm on Snapchat, how do I know that this person sending me something is right or not? Like, how do you figure that out? And then you guys can explore together.
Right. So be curious about their world versus policing their world.
Exactly. And you can also be very clear about your non negotiables
Hmm.
and then talk about that.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia, for joining us. We appreciate it
Sure.
very much. Thank you.